Okay, everyone, and welcome. My name is Lord PDTV, and we are here with the rest of the LordsofGaming.net crew here to speak to our amazing friend Rick Lagnese from Madfinger Games to talk about Gray Zone Warfare. So I just want to introduce the rest of our panel today, who is going to be with us. First, we're going to have, the amazing my right hand, one of my best buddies over here, Lord Cognito, who is got the guns from down under. He's just killing everything. So I just wanted to introduce him. Say hello, my friend.
What's going on, Lord Petey? Good to be in the realm, Lords of Gaming
Yes.
Network with great
Yes.
company, and someone we haven't seen in a while, and just to see the progression of the journey, and of course, the good friends of Lords of Gaming.net here holding us down. So yeah, we love these moments, man. I'm very excited and very excited to learn. This is a space that I need to really get better at.
Yeah.
Let's
Because
just say that.
you never ever do podcasts whatsoever. This is all new. This is all new to you, right?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
learning the ropes, man.
Learn the rest.
Both tactical gaming, and then
Yes.
I'll see it in co-hosting.
Yes, yes. So, well, thank you very much for joining us. And now we're gonna have two newcomers here that probably people have not seen as much, but we're here to introduce them, and hopefully we will see them more in the future. One is our LordsOfGaming.net, editor in chief, Mahmood. How are you doing, sir?
Doing well. I'm really looking forward to getting into the nitty gritty of Gray Zone Warfare, picking Rick's brain, and just getting showcasing this great game to a lot of our viewers. So yeah, it's great. It's great to be honored to be here.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. I greatly appreciate you for taking your time to come and join us. And now for our last panelist is actually a good friend of mine, Shammer, who has been streaming Gray Zone Warfare with me since we had VIP access. So we have seen and done a lot of stupid things and a lot of fun things. But I want you to introduce him and you'll be seeing hopefully a lot more of him. So how you doing?
Absolutely. Well, thank you for the invite. I appreciate it. And it's good to, grow this community and really get in there, especially with all of you. So
Well,
it's been good.
thank you very much for taking your time out of this lovely Friday to come and join us. So thank you so much. Now, as we all know, we are here for this man. We are here to speak to our big guns, as we like to call it, and
Big guns.
the
Oh,
big guns. Yes. And he is an individual who many of you people know from his times over at Warhorse Studios, and we met him over at PAX. I personally met him at PAX probably about 4 to 5 years ago, and now I can finally, speak to him in an interview type setting. Rick Lagnese of Madfinger Games, how are you doing, sir?
hey man, that you it paid off with your practice. Maybe you're speaking in the mirror saying Lagnese. Like
Yes.
Ah,
good.
Thank you.
Lasagna, lasagna works. No, doing well, guys. I love this part of the industry. Love doing what we're doing. Love talking to you guys. Things are going good.
Well, fantastic. Now, I would love for you to kind of, take a moment to tell us, about yourself, about where you are in Madfinger Games, how you kind of sit into that amazing role of what you do, and kind of, give the people who may not know Gray Zone Warfare like we know it, a little bit of an introduction to the game. So if you can kind of just speak about that, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I'll try and go in that order. So yeah, uh, Rick, of course, Lagnese. I head up PR and comms, director of communication, and there's a lot that comes with that. When I first started with Madfinger Games back in last October, I was actually head of community, so I was going to oversee community management and manage community managers that work with me. So one of the things with the boss, or one of the co-founders, Mara, or he goes by Merrick, but his nickname is Mara, is the creative freedom to be who you want to be and to own it, make it your own. So I quickly morphed really fast from head of community to PR and comms director because I knew we had to fill this. I had to take it, and grab it and go after it because we knew that if we're going to get the game out there, we got to start building relationships with creators fast. This is a game that is fueled by creators and the fans, of course. And I just knew that. So he let me move into that role. And then we have now a couple community managers hiring more. And meanwhile, I'm working a lot with just building those relationships with press, creators, collaborations and stuff. And that's, I've always said the best part about what I've done starting from day one in the industry is working with people. I love it. I love doing sales. I love doing everything that revolves around people. And so now, it hasn't been too long, but I've been in the industry myself for over 8 years. I've understand what it's like to be on the creator side and developer side. So I've learned a lot, and it's an honor to be working for this company. We are now at almost 850,000 copies sold, and we're not on console. It's just PC, and we're very, very thankful. We're also in a very challenging stage because there's a lot to work on when you launch a game into early access. It's only 30% done, so there's a lot to do. Gray Zone Warfare is a game that I've always wanted to work on for, and actually the boys, NLG boys, Michael and Petey and those guys. I used to play Ghost Recon Wildlands with them.
Wow.
We were playing Breakpoint, like tactical shooters. The very first game I played on Xbox was online. So Xbox
OG?
the OG.
Oh, Ghost Recon.
Wow.
First Ghost Recon?
It was Ghost Recon 2.
Yes.
Oh wow, yeah.
I was there, brother. I was there. Yeah.
We get slaughtered, my brother and I, because you think you're the best in the neighborhood. I was always the best in the neighborhood. I could take anyone out. I'm the best in the neighborhood. I was Super Street Fighter 64. Worked and paid for that one. Brought people over and whooped them with Ken. All the time. I was Ken. I was a person. They're all trying these different guys. I'm like, I'm going to master one guy, and I would always do that. And then I did that for GoldenEye for the Nintendo 64. But when you play online, and it was like game changer. And then Graw. And then all this stuff. And I'm like, tactical shooters, like Rainbow Six Vegas. I'm more of a fan of the old school Rainbow Six game. I could go back in and play Vegas. I like Siege. I think it's actually a great concept, but man, Vegas all day. Give me that kind.
Any terrorist hunt? Any terrorist hunt a little bit too?
Yeah, of course. Terrorist hunt was amazing.
Okay,
that was the old school PvE.
PvE,
That was fantastic. I wasn't as good as that. I was better in the PvP arena because I lacked patience. So I was the one that would take out like 5 to 10 enemies in that, the terrorist hunt real quick and then get eliminated because I'm trying to do too much. It's on me. So then working on the RPG side in the industry for so many years, finally I saw a LinkedIn post. No, it wasn't a post. It was like something covertly almost on their website that they are working on a tactical shooter. And I found Mara and I'm like, oh my God, it's Czech Republic. I'm like, come on now. Warhorse Studios, Czech Republic.
Yeah.
And so I know how closely connected that country is with game development, and they support each other. So I told him, he's like, why would you want to leave Warhorse? That was like his first question. He's very direct, and I love it. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I was like, well, I was there with him through all the DLC, Yeah. And then actually Warhorse went through if you guys remember, it was a big change. Like
huge.
Hawk Media buying them out to then THQ, and it was like all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
And I feel like because, I was part-time that I wanted to do a different challenge. And then like now with this game, I'm like, I've always wanted to work on a tactical shooter that I barely get to play, by the way, but I always something like this in a jungle. I loved Far Cry Instinct's Predator. I love that game. I even love the multiplayer. In fact, we used to play with some of the best out there. Like that, I can honestly say I was like really good at, man, because Far Cry Instinct's Predator was like, jump in. Crouch in.
Yeah.
It was like the old school, kind of like
old school.
And they used to think I was cheating, like I was on a dedicated server because that's how much I played it, and I really liked it, and I loved the jungle setting. I loved playing the single player experience. So now to have, I feel like all this combined with Gray Zone, and what's so special I think about Gray Zone Warfare is the sandbox MMO style of the game. We always love the concept of being able to play a game without loading screens. Check. That's covered in Gray Zone Warfare. You only load to get into the game, and then it's seamless, Yes, we've had some crashes. We are losing gear in progress. That was the totally counterproductive to a persistent world, because the idea is, things stay with you, your gear, whatever, as long as you safely exit. But even the point of like a persistent world something that you leave and you can come back. And whatever server you join, it's not like there's no necessarily beginning to it. People are in the world, right? So one world, 42 kilometers squared, big open world map that you get to play. And I think the great part of it is it's PvEVP, right? So you can get the best of both. You can just go PvE in the servers of PvE, or you can do the PvEVP. Sorry, I forgot to turn off my Discord notification. So they might.
You're good.
You're good. You're good.
So I love the uncertainty. Like some of the things that I'll mention is not necessarily anything new, right? There's some shooters that do it great, where you have the PvE aspects, like for example, DayZ.
Yes.
And in DayZ, you're mostly, you have a lot of that PvE, but then out of nowhere, you encounter another player, and that's like, what do you want to do? A sandbox. That is a lot of how Gray Zone Warfare is. That's why we say every move matters. It's funny, people mock us for it for sure, because that's saying, but I love it and I stick by it and I mean it. Because you can apply that to anything in life, but every move matters, because when you're playing the game, and you guys who play this know this, that you could be on, and as far the more you progress out into the map, when you get to the more hotter POIs, points of interest, of course, you have more of a probability to run into other players, and that's where the whole dynamic of the game changes. Do you engage? Do you work together? Do you drop loot? Right now, we don't have a trading system, so you just drop the trade or whatever. And we've seen so many different scenarios. We've seen where people do the old school way. They don't think twice. They just start open fire, spray it, because it's exciting. And we've seen where people actually are working together, or like, hey, look, I'll give you this for that. And sometimes people turn on each other. They'll let them get, 10, 20 meters out and then shoot them in the back. You know what? As dirty as that is, that's part of the game, because you're a PMC. And PMCs, it's funny. Everyone loves using this emoticon or whatever, emote, but they don't do that. PMCs don't salute. They're ex-military. They're expert in general at combat. And we have 3 different, by the way, I'm going all over the place and describing
love
the
it.
game.
No, you cooking. Keep going.
Go
Go. Love it. I'm some passion, brother.
That's what
talk
we do.
about.
It's more raw. It's not scripted. And so each podcast can be unique that way, because I don't script. So
off the top, the freestyle, crazy. Go ahead, Rick.
No, but playing as a PMC, and you have 16 players in your faction, right? So the voice over IP is great, because that's one of the ways that really adds to the immersion in the game. And you can actually work with, if you do it right, with 16 other players or 15 other players, and the more you do that, you can progress through the game, because we made it very hard with the enemy AI. The AI is no joke. Now, there's tweaks we need to make. There's some ridiculousness with the AI where they can literally be shot, turn around, and bam, one tap you like a 180. And so we're working on changes and stuff. But I can tell you this, and I can promise you this: the more the game continues, they're going to get smarter and harder. There's going to be some areas that we make that you're not going to be able to go and do it solo. In fact, we'll dare you. We'll even say you probably won't even be able to beat this. If you don't know how to play tactical, you're not going to be able to beat it. And we're gonna keep that challenge going out there, because the game is meant to be worked together. So even if you're playing solo, and actually we've heard people have actually soloed Bampa or Tiger Bay, which honestly I can't. I'm not even great on mouse and keyboard. It is mouse and keyboard only. Some people, I guess, have figured out how to use controllers. I don't know. We will make it controller compatible, by the way. But it is a very challenging game. First off, you have 150 tasks, and these tasks, some can complete in 130 tasks or more than 150, because it depends on the tasks and the decisions you make when you work with the vendors. It's a great thing that Tarkov does, by the way. Yeah. So there's some similarities. I have no problem comparing games, because we actually like Tarkov. Like some of our teams, like huge fans of Tarkov. So you get to make your decisions with the vendors, do these tasks, collect stuff, take so many enemies out, kill the boss, and we just like that people are playing it differently, that people have different stories, that some people are just hunting other players. Sometimes the landing zones get a little heated, because people are looking to extract, and then they have another, like a non-faction coming and flying in. And it's like, what do you do? Well, most of the time you're going to take them out, because it's hard to negotiate when they're, So there's a lot of different scenarios with Gray Zone Warfare, and I feel like for early access, 150 tasks gives you a lot to do. Gives you, the name of the game is mostly PvE, but it's that element of the PvP. The more you play, the more you have opportunities to engage players, where some people are even saying they're engaging, like they have like a 46 or 60-40. So 60 PvE, 40% PvP. You play the game how you want. It's a tactical shooter. It's hardcore and it's serious. But one more thing I'll end it on is that people, we're finding new players to this genre. Like it's their first time in this genre because I think people feel more like there's some aspects of Gray Zone that might make it a little bit more approachable in some aspects. And what I mean is that whether it's, I don't know, working together with 15 other, with the potential 15 other players, squatting up, and being able to be in a base where you don't feel like it's, you're not going to get killed in 3 or 4 minutes, right? And if you're working in the onboarding areas, there's a very seldom chance you're running into PvP. So you get time to breathe a little bit. And in other games, you don't always have that opportunity. So I think people are finding it a little bit more approachable that they have like this base that's safe, especially since we've improved it. You don't hear anybody raiding bases now. We've almost made it impossible right now. I see people trying. It's great because you got the mortars now and the AI respawns every couple minutes. So I don't know, man. I can keep going, but I think I just...
Yeah, no, this is fantastic. Yeah, Peter.
Yeah. There's a couple things I wanna kind of emphasize from what you are specifically saying. Now, I will fully disclose I am a PvE person, very much more than a PvP person when playing first-person shooters. It's just the way I enjoy the game. I know that there has been some issues with people with Gray Zone Warfare playing. And I know that you guys are definitely working on fixing those issues. I'm not even going to touch those personally myself. I will say that the communication with other people has been probably some of the most friendly, lifting, heartfelt moments that I felt in this game, more so than I have in other games. And I even made this like one video when we called it a chopper and we had to like wait something like 5 minutes, and I was like, all right, we gotta wait 5 minutes for this chopper now. And we had this really heartfelt conversation with this guy, and I recorded the whole thing and I put it up on the YouTube page.
I remember.
Yeah, because I saw it and I was just like, this is really, really interesting, and it felt really good because this guy was not only of the opposing faction, but it was like meeting a buddy at a bar talking about like, things that are happening. And it was really, really, it felt great. And I really wanted to emphasize how amazing that felt when you're working with other people, not only of your faction, but of other factions. The other thing is the tactical stuff that you are specifically speaking of. Even yesterday, me and Shammer, we've been playing for a very long time, and we are out of what I like to call the starting town that you kind of placed in. But he had one task that was left in there. So we were like, all right, let's just go in. And we went in there, and we still needed to be somewhat tactical, because if you aren't, you're going to get swarmed. Yep. And there was something told us both, hey, we should bring some more ammo into this than normal. And halfway through, we looked at each other and we're like, I just went through like almost like 400 bullets already. What is going on here? And it was just one of those things where like we had to be tactical and kind of clearing out and going through, completing the one mission, which was a fairly simple mission, but it was more like us having to get to that point, and then we got it, and then we got out. And it felt like no matter the time that you play, and no matter how long you play, you still have to have this different mindset when it comes to the game. Whereas in like Call of Duty, it's just like you run in and gun. In Destiny, you just kind of like run and gun in a lot of those levels. I'm not specifically talking raids. Don't be mad at me, Cognito. So, so like there's specific things that where I felt that Gray Zone Warfare does it right and does it so well in comparison to others. Even, like you said, even with Tarkov. Tarkov is a great game, but I feel like Tarkov is not nearly as tactical as Gray Zone Warfare is. And I think that I want to applaud you guys on that, and I think that is a great, great thing. Does anyone else have anything that they want to add to what Rick was saying?
Just also jumping off when you talked about the task, I think something that's really interesting is I know this is like a mill sim. there's a lot of ambiguity in terms like whatever intel is available. So it gives kind of challenges the players to put in a little bit more effort in trying to, achieve the task, whatever it could be. And I know in this day and age, there's a lot of hand holding in video games and things like that. So I would just want to applaud you guys for like sticking true to like the what you're trying to create, and at the same time, just let the players just explore on their own for a while. I think it's really good game design, especially if you can nudge them, or like they have the tools of what they need and to find and complete their objectives. So I think it's a really important aspect of the experience, in all honesty.
Absolutely. That wraps right back around to community. If I can't find the quest item, I'm going to go ask, hey guys, have you seen this? We ran into an instance yesterday where the boss just happened to die as soon as we walked in town. When the guy's flying in said, hey, I'm just here to kill the boss. And we're like, hey, he's already dead.
Yep. I mean, I think that's, again, to have this kind of camaraderie is because you have a place that you can go. I mean, you can talk throughout the entire map, but a lot of people have that stopping point at the base. So if it was getting raided every few minutes, you don't have that, right? Mm-hmm. So again, there's that more approachable. I also think too that, you get more people who might have kids that might feel like they can go in and play this game without being crushed. So it's more of we call it like a game, more of a game for dads. I get a couple of creators saying that
dad friendly.
This is my type of game because I'm a dad with kids and I can go in. And that was actually one of my concerns when I first came into the companies. I'm thinking, okay, we have these tasks. They're going to take some time. Do they have time to go in and do a task if they're just putting in an hour or two? And the truth is you do. And you still need to be tactical about your approach. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a testament to making the game. It's not easy, right? It's not. So in terms of difficulty, the difficulty is there, but it's just not the same. It's nice that you can go in, you can start, you can take the time with the vendors, you can take the time with your gear, so you have more time to prepare for your journey, right? And yeah.
I'm sorry, I just want to jump in real quick.
You go.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love what you're saying there. I just wanted to say in reference to, obviously, you're making this immersive, tactical PvE, PvP, intense realism, in 2024, right? And I guess my question is, from the community standpoint and the feedback that you're getting, what has been some of the biggest challenges that you guys have faced as a team, or feedback that maybe you didn't expect? And you're like, okay, we need to kind of address this from the community, or just surprise, either positively or negatively.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a game that just starts off in early access, you better have some thick skin, and you also better be understanding of people's feedback, because I know, we have to always remind ourselves, whatever we do, they're not developers, and you have to understand their perspective, because even though some of it'll be like people like fix your game. This is easy to fix. It's like if it was easy to fix, brother, it would already be out.
All you got to do is we all share development on y'all.
Hey guys, I got easy suggestions. Like guys, and honestly, it's even like, and look, I talk to creators. Everyone knows if you've talked to creators who've covered the game, chances are they've actually talked to me, and chances are they've even talked to me like on a call like Discord or whatever. It's just because I love it. I told you guys, I love that. But I will also be just as honest, being like, listen. Even with creators, I'm like, guys, listen, I get it. Like your suggestions, we knew a lot of this would come into play. Like we knew that we were going to have to do a little better job with the LZ camping. And we did make some adjustments and stuff like that, but we knew we were going to have to, but we, at the same time, I have to change my perspective immediately, because as a small studio, we don't have time to do a bunch of different types of tests. You can't just get it out there to all the public, because then you have to pay for all the servers. Mm-hmm. Very, very expensive. It's insane. Actually, the cost. So we usually have to do tests in smaller groups. And then we decided, even I was pushing for, and it was kind of crazy to do a play test for 7 days. Because normally you do a play test for 3 days, because the longer people play it, they're going to find more bugs. But it's like, we want them to find more bugs. We can't dedicate enough time for us to test it. So we need to get it out there. And then early access is a lifesaver. If we didn't have early access, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be having this conversation. Early access is a lifeline for companies. So the feedback, to be specific now, they're when they're talking about, for example, AI, there's a lot of things we have to consider, because it is one of the bigger pain points. We put a lot of time into the AI. We want them to be smart. They actually have emotions. If they are shooting you, they're more likely to advance. If you're shooting them, they're more likely to run. If you're running at them, some of them will even run away. And especially if you're working with a military faction, they're going to play smarter. They're going to work more together. They're going to be better shots. Although, of course, the argument can be made that even the onboarding area, they act like they're the Terminator. That's what the latest thing is, that our AI is Terminator, because they take a lot of shots, because we do have some issues with desyncing because of the server stability and stuff. But like all this feedback we're getting, I see it out there. We were having an issue we just got to have fixed out today, that when you die, it's almost like a Dark Souls-like thing where you can go back and get your stuff that you lost.
Your body, yeah.
Though. Some people don't realize, though, if you die again, it's gone. You're like your body and your stuff. See you, bye. It's gone. We can't just leave bodies on the screen because that'll mess with the performance. You can't just have an unlimited amount of bodies. But we were having an issue in the PvE servers where you couldn't even loot your own body when you got there. And it was really annoying. And then so we got that hotfix out there. So like we have our community managers that are constantly looking at Discord, Reddit, Twitter, and then they make these reports. The QA team also, sometimes they'll even respond to stuff on weekends. And I'm like, guys, you don't have to do it on weekends. You got to have a life. But they're so passionate that they're still doing it anyway, including developers that the QA guys, we don't even ask them to. They're going in there in certain places, even on Discord, and answering stuff and trying to. We're constantly submitting stuff about people who are cheating, all sorts of things. So like, I would say that we weren't as well prepared as we thought we were for the base camping issue in the beginning either. So when people started giving that feedback, like I just can't tell you how much, even if the feedback comes with some illogical ways of what we should do, we're still taking it in all the time. I tell you what we won't do, though, is we will never change our vision. The AI, we're not making any easier. Yeah, someone said, "Hey, please reduce the population in Bampa." Not happening.
Shut up! Get out of here. I love it. Get him out of there.
It's not that I want to get the player out of there, but the argument, yeah, get that out of there. No, because I know the guy, and he's cool, and he's put over 100 hours into the game, but we are not going to make. Actually, he's put over 200. We are not going to make it any easier. So even though we need to adjust some things, and a lot of it is on us to fix, we are going to continually make this game a very challenging game. And the people that like to play solo, sometimes they're going to have to be willing to talk to others and get help.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you something. I don't want to jump ahead, but there's even a faction we haven't introduced yet, and you thought they're hard now. So just wait. Just wait. Just wait.
Okay.
It's gonna be things. It's gonna be things, So
that's that.
I want to say that I want to say one thing about the AI and when you're experiencing it like firsthand. When you leave that starter zone and then you start going towards Hunter's Paradise, for instance, for us, Crimson Shield, the first set of quests when we start leaving the zone is Hunter's Paradise. It is a reality check because, like, you thought those guys are bad, like those guys are way worse, and then I was like, oh, this isn't bad, and then you go to Bampa and you're like, what is going on here? And it's like, it's almost like your brain has to learn how to play differently and how to excel better. And it's just one of those things that I think is great. People telling you to reduce AI, don't listen to them. Sometimes you need to have challenges. Like when you go to the bunker, you need to know how to specifically deal with the bunker in your own way. The first time I went there, I was trying to go from the outside in. After a while, I learned about the vent shaft in the back. I am way better at close quarter combat than I am with the outside. So I learned my own way to deal with things. I'm just trying to say that the way that the vision of how you guys are progressing right now, I love it, and I would not follow that stuff. Which is actually funny because I was going to actually ask you about how you guys are dealing with community feedback, but you've already explained that, and it's fantastic. How often, because I don't know if you guys are planning to do this or not, I'm pretty sure you are, with wipes, because it is early access. How often do you plan on doing wipes for the game?
Yeah, so we said that we were going to do or shoot for like maybe every 6 months or something like that. And that's actually we'll see what happens because things are always subject to change, but around that 6 months from launch. And that seems like where even our first update may come.
Yeah.
So because usually a wipe and an update is good to put two and two, bring those at the same time.
Yeah.
And with more updates, quality of life updates, by then we want to have, we're going to always work on things that, like, obviously one of the biggest things we get in the community, and it's rightfully, it's become a meme, and it's rightfully so, about negative all birds are in the air because they're waiting forever and a day for the little bird to pick them up, to take them. But we constantly are coming out with, nope, I'm going on a tangent. So yes, wipes every 6 months. It's subject to change. I know right now there's been that duplicating, the dupes and stuff with the economy getting out of hand. But maybe we can go on a tangent that way, because it's easy to say just wipe everything. But imagine telling that to all the people who are playing too, that don't keep up with all the social media stuff, that they're not as, bothered by that. They're still enjoying their experience and saying, hey, we're going to wipe your progress and you're going to have to start all over. It just it's not easy to just bring in a random wipe.
Right.
I remember playing Grand Theft Auto 4 and there was a big money exploit. And I'm not going to lie. When I was playing Grand Theft Auto 4 in the beginning, I was doing it. I did. Mm-hmm. I admit it. I'm guilty. Mm-hmm. It was this, and it was, you get millions of dollars because I wanted all the bling in my garage. Yep. I got the pink car. The pink car.
I ain't mad at you, Rick.
No. And it's true. And it's true. But like, I can't even imagine if they would have just said, we're wiping all your progress. We need to fix this. It's always, you know what I mean? Like, it's easy to say what's going to fix it. And yes, it is on us. Again, it is on us. But believe me, whatever we do, there's a lot of planning. So the wipes, they, however they take shape, they will. And with that will come not just wipe, but some updates and stuff.
I will say that from a gamer perspective to the developer side, most people that are playing Gray Zone Warfare are so used to the wipe thought process, because a lot of us already play Tarkov and we're used to the wipes. I wouldn't be afraid of them for us, because we will be fine. We'll deal with it. And you know what that means for us? We get to play it again.
Of course.
And that is one of the greatest things that I think of. Shammer, I know you had a question. So what was your question to Rick?
Well, unfortunately, most of my questions, they got into my PDF file this morning. They answered in that community briefing that they just put out.
That quick feedback from the team.
Yeah, one step ahead.
Yes.
I was going to ask if you pretty much already touched on it. The LZ camping getting out of control in PvP, I would call it. And if you guys thought that it was in the spirit of the game, or if there's
a good one. So some of it is. We're not trying to get rid of it entirely at all. Mm-hmm. You got to hone up for you to be. So you go there, right? You get camped. If you fly right back to the LZ, what do you think is going to happen? You need to discover the other LZs, and sometimes you need to go to another LZ and walk a little farther. You got to consider your every move. This is a hardcore game at heart. We are not going to dumb it down, but we do we realize, okay, I'll be honest. Look, and we will own up to this one. We took away in the preview test. You could shoot. This is the preview test in March. You could shoot from the heli. Well, we decided to not have that available because it was clipping. And then we're like, well, that was not smart, because nobody cares about the clipping. If they can't defend themselves, they'd rather say, look, there might be a little clipping. You can put the gun through your leg on the little bird. Who cares? They need to shoot. They need to be able to try and, we're still working on the effects of like smoke grenades to make them better and stuff like that, so that you can have more of a defense. And we added 5 seconds of invulnerability. But we're never going to take away it completely. We're not going to have people feel bad that they're trying to extract and another little bird lands. What do you want them to do? We're never going to encourage, hey, don't shoot, let them go. No, do whatever you want. No. It's a sandbox. But in the community briefing, we did say that we do plan on adding more LZs. Yep. So to add more LZs, but we're not taking it away. You're going to have to work well and make sure that we say every move matters. But we do realize that, by the way, any LZs doesn't just solve it entirely. There are other things that we're working on, whether there's some kind of radar, whether there's some kind of thing, this or that we want to work on to help. It's not perfect by any means. We just really want to stress that you know, you can't ever fault someone for defending themselves, not knowing how these people are going to react when they get out of the little bird. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that's like someone coming in to rob your house and you're like, or coming into your home and you're like, oh yeah, hey, what do you want to do here? You good? Like, you know what I mean? Like they're landing in your LZ and it feels like you're home when you're trying to go back to base and you don't want to lose your gear. So do you want, you know what I'm saying? So it's not all black and white. And we also, as strongly as I might have these opinions, believe me when I say that, you guys know my humble beginnings when I started was at that community management level. And even though I do the PR and comms, I work with the CMs constantly because I love that side of the job too. Like I love the community management aspect of it. So we see what they're saying and we like, man, we can only implement so much, but just know that a lot of the updates we make is based on what people are saying. The improvement stuff. Some of it's obvious, like, ADS, we need to add more quality of life stuff, but we have to keep working on optimizing and stabilizing the servers. That's our number one goal.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
Yes, if you don't mind,
I was going to ask.
I was just gonna shift gears a little bit. Rick, the game is absolutely gorgeous, and we commend like the art style, and it's just how lush the vegetation, everything feels. What would you say is like? It's been like it was built on Unreal Engine, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Unreal Engine 5 plus our own engine, Scala.
Yeah. Okay. So what was that experience like? Like was it? Because we know Unreal Engine it's becoming a lot more prevalent and popular from game developers. It's widely available, but at the same time, there's a lot of like you said, like sometimes there will be performance issues, but we can tell, like for the most part, the performance is you're getting a lot of bang for your buck in terms of the visual styles and things like that. So, what was that experience like with working with Unreal Engine?
So, if you guys remember, I remember we even talked about this back in the day with Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Oh yeah.
You have the CryEngine for Kingdom Come Deliverance, right? But then we had our own engine, and that own engine was where it's not just copy paste algorithms; it's check trees that are literally in Bohemia, yeah. In the same way in our game, we've actually had people that live in Southeast Asia or in Laos that actually like, oh my goodness, that's my vegetation. Those are my trees. The Scala engine is what brings that in. Otherwise, you would see so much more open area. Like that's what makes it dense and lush. So the Unreal Engine 5, it depends on point what, 5 point this, 5 point that. And new tech doesn't always mean a better advantage. In general, it does in terms of that it's the latest tech, but then you also have to know how to work with it. So you're going to run into things and you got to know. So anyone has access to it, but at the end of the day, it's the people behind it, And honestly, I'm very proud of what we've done on the Scala engine to give it that more realistic nature and environment where you feel immersed into Laos to Lamang Island. It's a fictional island, but it's not much about it is that fictional in terms of the environment, vegetation. So I'm not the guy that works on any of that. I don't know how to do any coding unless I'm doing like cheat codes for, I don't know, up, down, left, right. That's all I know how to do.
Tell me.
but yeah, the Scala engine is a game changer, and it allows us to make a much more immersive environment.
Sounds great. Does anyone have any more questions before we ask Rick the final big question?
No, I guess for me, obviously I'm not the hardcore tactical guy, but I guess one thing that I really respect that the team is doing as far as sticking to the vision. I love that you said that. I'm always a fan of creative vision and letting the developers do what they want to do. My question is for those who may be intimidated, right? A guy like me that made it want to be fragged out like that crazy. Like, what would be the zone for me to kind of get my bearings? What would the team recommend for a guy like me coming into the space or new?
Yeah. So the nice thing with that is when you're starting from the ground up, you go in the base, you take your time. It would be very rare. In fact, people share these clips right away because it's so rare when they get the chance to see other players coming towards their base. But you get to look at the gear and even the gear can at first seem intimidating. I'm not a weapons and combat expert. We have weapons and combat experts that they know what goes with what. But the bottom line is you get to go in, you get to take your time, check out the vendors, see what the tasks are, read them over. As you Mahmoud was saying, it's not just we don't always just hold your hand. The nice thing is the first few quests give you the coordinates. So you get to, you'll actually be able to know exactly where to go to get a feel for the game. The other nice thing that I would say too is like talk to the people that are in the base. You're not shy. Barry, you're not shy.
Yeah, I'm not. I like to talk.
we finally, keybind so you can use, if for like. And by the way, I'm not a mouse and keyboard guy in general. I'm not. Same. I need to keep learning and get better. I'm used to being competitive. In this game, I'm not. I'm done. I'm toast. So even for me, I make sure I get my controls right. I use the Z key, which is for voice over IP, of course, and I use that onto the mouse, one of the mouse buttons, so it's easier to talk. But like if you talk to people, honestly, my experience, even when I get to actually play it on my own, is good. People are willing to help you. You can do tasks with people, and you can take your time. It's not just always a war zone. Sometimes you can even walk for a little bit, and there's not all this noise all the time. So Gray Zone Warfare is that kind of more of approachable game that you can go in there, you can take your time to at least spend your time looking at the weapons, what's different. We have stats if you hit right click and inspect. Same thing with the attachments, like I said, with the vendors. And then it's a sandbox. So yes, some people will say it's a milsim, but you don't have to technically play it like a milsim. So that's why we even ourselves get away from saying those terms, or it's just an extraction shooter. You're not leaving the map though. Like most people are used to like match-based games. There's no time limit. Take your time. Cog, take your time.
Take my time. All right.
You can back out, just go back to your base, save your stuff, make sure you keep your gear.
Yep.
You go back and play whenever you want.
All right.
The voice inflection, just like.
And the nice thing about it is that when you do, like, let's say you go in there for a mission and you kill a whole bunch of guys, the respawn timers in like the main zone are very long. So like you even sometimes have the time to go in, clear a whole bunch of mobs, do what you got to do. You leave, you go back to your base, you can do whatever you want, you come back. Those mobs haven't even spawned back yet. So you can kind of go back in the same like track you've already dealt with and then continue on your thought process and go through that. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good for that too.
Also, Cog, you'd be happy to know there have been a lot of reports that players will just give you a lot of gear, they give you a lot of money, millions of dollars worth of money. So, there's some generous people out there.
Yes,
so.
Yes,
yeah,
definitely.
I'm getting my confidence up. All right.
If nobody else has any questions, I'm going to ask Rick the last big one. Where do you guys feel that Gray Zone Warfare is going in the future? What are you guys pushing for? What are you pushing towards? We know we got that really excites me, the day-night cycle in the future. Where do you guys kind of going for in the future?
Yeah, the simplest answer is saying is more content, more fun.
Yes.
Because content is king. Always has be, always will be, always, no matter what. So, we find like the vision of Gray Zone Warfare, it's not something we want to completely touch on in a sense because there's still some mystery, right? Ground Zero. It's funny, everyone calls it Gray Zone. Like, no, Gray Zone Warfare, that's just a term. That's just a terminology. What Gray Zone, the Ground Zero is a big mystery. What are we going to do with that? How's that going to evolve? But basically, we're going to be adding, right? That day-night cycle will change the dynamics of the game. It's not just going to be day-night. You know what I mean? You're talking not just even using lasers, but MVGs. How is it going to work with the AI? What are they going to do differently? Eventually, we're going to have AI that patrols. We're going to have smarter AI. We're going to have enemy faction AIs that move around. We're going to have camps. So camps can, draw more of that. It'll be like 4 main camps. Now, we've already said this publicly, but it's not, we haven't talked about it too much. But, that brings a little bit more of like a PvP because you have to, in order to have that camp, you have to secure it, make sure it's yours. But if you leave it for too long, even an enemy AI faction, one that patrols, can take it over. You have that camp, you can stash your gear there safely, just like you would at your fob. Sorry, forward operating base for COG.
Thank you, brother. I was like, I was looking at the acronyms.
To be fair,
Appreciate you.
It's all good, dude. And so, but that's just like the early access for us. Honestly, does mean years because we're not going to rush it into version 1.0. We want to get it on consoles. Like we have not shied away from that. We want to get controller support and all that. Believe me, I would love to play this on my Xbox. I love it. I love it. But it's not just like adding in different factions or just this or that. We really want it to be where people can keep coming back, where there's more quests added, where there's even for factions, we want to differentiate the factions more, right? Little identifiers, not something that we're not going to do like something over the head that doesn't work in a game that's immersive like ours. You maybe like wristbands or something, or whatever it may be. It could be something on the back, something that makes the factions a little bit more easier to identify. We want to add in like faction progression, maybe faction leaderboards, right? So there's more competitive reasons to do that. Maybe we've talked about rewarding players if you can actually get into a base and take it over, to actually give you some kind of reward for that. So the scope, the way that Gray Zone Warfare will evolve is it'll feel like a completely different game, but with the same kind of vibe that is tough as nails, that you got to work together. You got to be patient. You can play it the way you want, but there'll be other little fun surprises. Ground Zero is going to add a whole nother dynamic, but to really just make it simple, like the point is we're going to be adding more content, keeping players coming back. And these quests, even right now, to get to 150 quests, we're seeing it if without help, it'll take you 70, 80, 100 plus hours to do them all, and the bottom line is like, it's content. We're going to be bringing more content that makes the game continuously more tactical, that will bring even more meaning behind every move matters, that gives more of even the player versus player type, not necessarily always like with violence, but like we're going to add in crafting. We talked about the idea of having a Buddhist temple that's a safe area to go and trade. Okay. Who knows? Okay. There's going to be a lot we're going to add.
I like that
part. Kind of like a watering hole for never mind. I would go into dinosaur. Never mind. But anyway, go ahead. I've been watching way too many kids shows with my son. But continue. I'm sorry.
No, but I can talk about all these things, and it's a fair question to ask. But at the end of the day, like we've even realized, hey man, we don't want to bring in this update too soon. We really need to optimize. There's a lot of bugs. There's a lot of. I remember being at Warhorse, man. I remember like one guy was working so hard and he broke the fast travel. I don't know if you remember that. For 2 weeks, no one could fast travel. I know the guy who did it. I also know the guy at Madfinger it was 5 a.m. He said at 5 a.m. he broke the code word, the missing heads in Gray Zone.
Yeah,
he pulled an all-nighter, and like I know it's just. There's so much we have to do. We want this game. We want to reduce that rubber banding. It's very annoying. We play it. I hate rubber banding like anyone else.
I want to really feel it.
More server support. We want to, there's a lot of things. Eventually, it'll translate to other languages. Gray Zone Warfare is here for the long haul. So get ready. Get ready.
No doubt. No, it's great to hear, man. I'm sorry, Peter. I just wanted to say, I love the transparency and recognizing, game development is difficult, and recognizing all the feedback as well as the issues that are currently, but taking that time, taking experience to cook and actually develop it. Yes, I'm a console girl. Yes, I want it on controlling and console and all that stuff, but I understand you guys need to cook. You guys need to optimize. So I love what you said there. And yeah, man, we're excited because, again, it's sticking to that vision, that really intense realism, that tactical aspect of it. And I love that developers do that. So yeah, salute to the team and Madfinger and everything. But Petey, I'll let you get your closing thoughts off.
No. I just wanted to say I'm excited to see where you guys are envisioning, where you guys are going. And I'm excited to see, because I'm in it for the long haul also, because I've been looking for a extraction shooter very similar to this for a very long time. Like I said before, I like Tarkov, but it's just not my thing. And this really does put it exactly where I want, where I like it, where I want things. So, Mahmoud, Shammer, you guys?
I think you guys found a very good sweet spot with the difficulty in the game. I'm so anxious to see it get harder. That's going to be so much more fun playing more tactical. But I do want to commend you guys. You guys have a fantastic team. Even sitting here looking at the Discord, you see devs in there responding. It's like every single day you're seeing something new, a new fix. You guys are doing amazing.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Mahmoud?
Yeah, I'll just say, Rick, thank you for your time. I know early access, it's a godsend for you guys, and just to see your journey with the players, with the community, it's gonna create something beautiful. And I wish you guys all the best of luck.
Thanks, man.
So, Rick, just to close out things, please tell us, where they can find you, where they can talk to you, Twitters, all those fun plugs. So, kind of tell us all that information about you.
Yeah, first thing is I'll even say, if I may, the first place you can find me is anything at Gray Zone. You know what I mean? I'm everywhere. So, yeah, Gray Zone Warfare, Gray Zone Warfare Twitter, Gray Zone Warfare wherever. I mean, even if my CM sees something and it's something we need to talk about, I'm going to hear it. So anything at Gray Zone Warfare, and for me, it's Rick5292, and that's been the same since I was 12. So Rick52, like, hey, I'm Rick, and I go by Rick. So 5292. Because that's my number. 92 is Michael Strahan on the Giants.
Okay, all right. That defensive line, I got you. I remember that team.
Yeah, I do too.
No doubt. One of the best Super Bowls. I remember it.
I mean, I'm Rick at madfingergames.com. It's always Rick or Rick5292.
Yep. Well, fantastic. Thank you so much. Let's Shammer, why don't you tell us where we can find you and tell us about you.
Mostly on Twitch, you can find me. I am at Official Shammer on everything else. Took it up. Mostly streaming, content creation right now.
Sounds good. Mahmood, how about yourself?
Yeah, you can find me in the Lords of Gaming Discord. You can find me at Twitter or X, whatever it's called now, at Wayhik, WAYHIK. And if you're watching this, you want to join Lords of Gaming, let us know. Shoot us a application. We'll be happy to set you up. You can interview great developers like Rick here, so it's always a great opportunity.
Fantastic. And last, big boy over here, my man, Cognito, Lord Cognito.
No doubt. You already know. Every Sunday's the Lord's Day, but you can find us at lordsofgaming.net and Lords of Gaming YouTube channel. Check us out, man. Again, independent content, independent thoughts, and basically from the ground up. And it's always cool to see the journey of a person like Rick and to see where he's come and where he's going right now. I'm super proud to see development in this space. And yeah, man, we're going to be pulling for Gray Zone and see where they go in the future. But again, it's always great to have him in the realm and see him moving and shaking out here. So salute, Rick. You already know. And at Lord Cognito, for those that don't me, in Twitter.
And as for myself, Lord PDTV, every single Monday through Friday on Twitch and YouTube. Lord PDTV on YouTube has been killing it with lots of Gray Zone Warfare information. If you are looking for stuff there and even funny, stupid things that I have done there. So thank you again, Rick, for spending this time with us, and thank you, and continue on the great work, and thank you everybody for spending your time with us. So have a great one. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Peace.